Hey, what's up guys? Jeremy coming at you live with another edition of video game, vinyl, and LaserDisc collecting pickups. This is going to be one of those videos that's a multi-crossover and there's a reason to it. Alright, so what we're going to look at today is this lot here, that stuff there, this stuff here, that stuff there, this stuff there, oh pardon me, that there, and this stuff here. Alright, okay, so let's get to it right here. The first thing was this lot here, a Sega Genesis CD lot. Alright, I picked this up off someone this past week for $30. Alright, what ended up happening was I actually, on the way to a relative's house, I passed by a garage sale. I was like, I'm gonna stop in, you never know. And if you don't go, you never know, right? EDT 1138? Alright, so with that said, I didn't see any video games. The guy just said, oh, is there anything I can help you with? Are you looking for anything? And I said, oh, I'm looking for video games. And he said, I might still have some, but they're not here. I have to go look for them, right? So he gave me his number. I took it down, gave him a call the next day. He told me he found it. He found all of this stuff here, right? And with that said, in this lot here, you have, pardon me, the Sega CD, the Genesis one with the original Sega CD, complete in-box with marketing promotional materials, 2 controllers, all the hookups. It came with Crew Ball, that's Motley Crue, Formula 1, Beyond the Limit, Sonic the Hedgehog, Soul Feast, and Sherlock Holmes, which is also a double CD, whoops, upside down, with Streets of Rage there, Revenge of Shinobi, Columns, and Golden Axe. What else was in this lot was just a truckload of sports games. He was a sports games fanatic when he had this and he was playing when he was younger. So I bought that off him and I looked at the lot and obviously I knew what I was going to keep, right? But then I thought, you know what? I'll see if I can maybe sell the sports games, and they're just your NHL hockey, Madden, Sports Talk Baseball, NBA Action, you know those games, right? So I went to a pawn shop and I actually got $10 for it. So technically, for all this here, I paid $20. Awesome. All right, so let's look at another thing over here. I ended up getting for the 3DO, the Pro Flight Stick. All right, this is like a monster, but it's pretty sweet. And I actually hooked up the 3DO just to show you it in action. This is killing time. I'm gonna actually hold the video here and play. So I apologize if I kind of all over the place, but it's excellent stick here. It's a little bit sensitive. Sorry, I'm trying to like play the game through the video camera screen, so it's a little bit different here. And I'm playing with one hand, so we'll see what happens here. Oh. Alright, so there's ghosts and all that kind of stuff. Alright, I don't want to take too long on this, but that's killing time. It's actually a pretty cool game. And what I found interesting about this again here, this flight stick, I wanted to get some more information on it. And I went online, and I'll show you something. And when I was going on Google, I actually pulled it up and I put 3DO flight stick, and some stuff came up right away on eBay. Okay, so right now, again, as we all know, eBay inflates, people inflate their prices. But as you can see here, the flight stick right there, Panasonic 3DO flight stick, is going for well, that's whatever this person put, $99.95. And then there's a comparison of the Flight Stick Pro. It's going for $89.99. All right, so when I got that for $5, and I was kind of like, especially after I saw that on eBay. So I was like, okay, obviously that's a tremendous deal then. If I can't say that's the market value, but that's the information I found online. So safe to say that this here has, well, this is safe to say in the $40 to $50 range. So for $5, excellent. All right. So far the total spent was $30 on the Sega stuff, minus $10 in savings, so $20 cost. $5 for the 3DO flight stick. All right, and now it's gonna get a little bit more crazy. So let me try and explain, and we'll go from there. In my previous video game collecting video, you recall that I got a number of things: an Xbox, PS2, Nintendo, and a couple other things. They'll come to mind in a second. The PS2 I gave to my niece, who's at the University of Michigan. The Xbox, I kept the games, but the Xbox I actually sold on Kijiji for 20 bucks. So keep that in mind, 20 bucks. And then the Nintendo, because I had doubles of it, I sold that for 50 bucks. So I recovered my original cost, made a profit on both of those. And oh yes, I bought for 80 bucks, I bought that Super Nintendo lot with a bunch of games. All right, so let's look at those games. Now, some of them I had doubles of, okay? So I'll try and explain very carefully what I did with that there. Okay, if you recall last week, you can compare videos. I showed you in that $80 lot that I got the Super Nintendo with the hookups and controllers, a number of games. All right, okay. I got last week Donkey Kong Country, Super Mario RPG, Secret of Mana, Turtles Tournament, Zombies, Super Adventure Island, Batman Forever. And believe it or not, those were all doubles of games I already had. So what I did, and picture this, I went through all my collection again. I put all the doubles side by side, and then I kept the better versions of the game, i.e. games that had no label damage, that were in fantastic condition. The Mario I traded in, sorry, I'll tell you what I did in a second. The Mario that I got or parted with had a rip in the label previous. The Secret of Mana, this one's a better version than the one I got rid of, and same with Zombies as well. So what I did with the copies of Mario RPG, Secret of Mana, and Zombies, all right, the copies I had, Zombies had a little bit of label damage on the one I parted with. Secret of Mana had like, although you can't tell if you put it, not this one, the one I got rid of, had a lot of scratches along the label, and the other Super Mario had a torn label here. I ended up selling those three games together for $60. All right, let's stay with that. So the copies of these I sold for $60, plus the 20 I got from the Xbox. And what did I end up getting with that money was 2 tickets tonight, Beaverfest with their cult. So that's an annual rock festival. We're basically I'm going to see the cult tonight with Puddle of Mud and Honeymoon Suite. All right. So that again, considering what I paid for the lot, $80 for that lot, what I did, I sold my copies of this, the worst versions. I upgraded and I kept the better versions. I added that to the Xbox, and I was able to get 2 tickets tonight for the cult. All right, so that's fantastic in itself. Now it's going to get interesting. Okay. Well, actually, you've already seen this part here. You might also recall last week that I had copies of, or I did get in that $80 lot, the Super Nintendo, Donkey Kong, Turtles, Super Adventure Island, Batman Forever, and a couple other things. It'll come to my mind here in a minute. But what did I end up doing was I traded that in for some games, which I'll show you right there in a second. Okay, so in that $80 lot, I got rid of the Super Nintendo, traded in these games. There's a couple others that I traded in as well. And there's something else in there that it'll come to my mind. But I ended up, when you think of it, what I ended up doing in that whole process, I ended up getting better versions of these games here, better versions of these games that had better label, and I don't worry, I hooked them up and I tried them before I parted with them. And technically, these games here, when you think of it, I got for free because I recovered my costs and then traded up. All right, so Final Fantasy, Casper, and all these other games I got for free. So it's gonna get a little bit more crazy. but with everything I traded, let's show you what I got, okay? Okay, and I'm gonna try not to go nuts on me here. Okay, the first game, and I saw this, Atari Leaf do a review on this, was Supernova. Alright, excellent shmup from what he showed me. Another game was Super Bonk, again, both for the Super Nintendo. Another game, Aliens vs. Predator. And finally, sorry, I just want to make sure I show you that, I was able to get Wild Guns for the Super Nintendo. Alright, so I recovered my costs, got better versions of the games, got free games, traded up, and was able to get some amazing games, which included Wild Guns. Alright. Okay, so that's all of that. And you saw the flight stick. Now we're going to go into vinyl collecting, and this is where it gets a little bit strange. A little bit. Okay, I went to Value Village. I ended up getting 3 records, which I'll show you in a second, and 2 controllers. It came out to $14.65, if you can see there. So it was basically $2.99 plus tax for a GameCube controller, and then 3 LPs. So those included Blondie, Chicago, and Wings Over America, which is a pretty cool album. Paul McCartney for that artwork. Alright, now just for fun, I got 2 more controllers for the GameCube so I can have 4-player action later on, if I should so choose. But for the fun of it, I just put these on Kijiji, and I put them out. I was just curious to see if anyone would buy them. I put them on for 25 bucks. I just want to see if anyone would come back and was just curious. But either way, if they don't sell, I'm not even worried about that, because now I have 4 controllers for 4-player action, and that came to 14 bucks. That was cool. Now we're getting into vinyl, so I'm just going to put those aside, those controllers. Alright. Now, that's probably the most I've ever paid for vinyl, is like $1.99, so I know, that's okay. It's going to get a little bit crazy in a second. This here, I'm going to show you those 2 books last. Alright, I ended up getting, can you see that? $1.52 for all of this here from another thrift store.